Yeah. Oh.
Good afternoon, Officer Premier. It's Donna speaking.
Donna, we've talked before. It's Gary Thompson. Um, yeah, we did after my executive director got arrested at his constituency office for the deaths at that factory.
Oh.
Yeah, that was last year. You remember that, Dina Ladd and them? You don't remember
Not
them?
offhand.
Okay.
I speak to a lot of people throughout the day, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I've got it. There's this virus going around, coronavirus.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
And I hear there's a shortage of ventilators.
Yes, there might be. That might be the case, yes.
Yeah.
They're concerned about the numbers.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's a reason behind it. Because
What's the reason?
the Ministry of Health has been teaching millions of people for years all the signs of drug overdose, which mimic any breathing emergency.
Okay.
Deny rescue breathing. So that causes brain damage, and people are in the ICU needlessly taking up ventilators. There's a bill in front of the legislature, Bill 105 by Natalie Kusendova. Second reading at the legislature in the media room. They had Doris Grinspun there, the CEO of the Registered Nurses Association. She mentioned Brad Chapman's coroner's inquest. He was left on a ventilator for a week. It took a week to find his spouse, and they had to remove him because of brain damage, lack of oxygen. A man named Rick Frayne had to remove his brother from a ventilator because of lack of oxygen. This was in the media room. Yeah, recorded with Natalie Kusendova. She's an RN and she knows all about it. And so does a 5-year-old child. When you deny rescue breathing from someone, their brain dies. And if you give them air, then they're not going to be put on a ventilator. Right? Yeah, well, I just got published in the New York Times what they're doing here in Ontario. Doug knows me real well because I tried to save his brother's life back in 2013. There was a rumor that Rob was seen smoking crack. So I went to Toronto Public Health and said, I guess this live human study can't end till somebody kills the mayor if he smokes too much, drinks too much, has a diabetic coma, a stroke, or chokes on the extra gravy. The doctors at Toronto Public Health started laughing their fool heads off. Yeah, Gary, that's a going. Kill the mayor, kill the mayor. I went over and talked to Rob about it. Rob's response was crazy too. He says, Toronto Public Health is not in my jurisdiction. I shook my head. I says, do I have to go to Montreal or Windsor to save your life? The next time I ran into Rob at City Hall was with Joe Mahevitt, past chair of the Board of Health. He says, see that guy? That's Gary Thompson. He's trying to save your life. Rob walks by me and growls at me. It sounds crazy. It's right up on the Ministry of Health's website. When my brother-in-law, the second reading of the Bill 105, he mentioned over and over, it's rescue breathing. And so did Doris Grinspun. She says it's first aid, which is rescue breathing. The ministry is teaching chest compressions, which is CPR. That's for cardiac arrest. If your heart stops from a respiratory emergency, it means you're brain dead from lack of oxygen. Respiratory emergency has nothing to do with the heart. Until you're brain dead from lack of oxygen, that's when your heart will stop. And then if they get your heart stopped, you're going to be in ICU on a ventilator. It's not a cardiac arrest from heart disease. Anyway, I'm just trying to save some lives, man, Donna. It's a no-brainer.
Okay, so is that what you want us to relate to the Premier?
Yeah, a lot of needless stuff going on. You know, you don't want to have brain damage. And there's a lot of people, yeah, there's a lot of people, it's costing the taxpayer a fortune because there's a lot of people that are needing 24/7 nursing, stuck in a wheelchair. Brain damage, right? Not enough that they're breathing on their own so they don't have to be put on a ventilator. Jeepers. Anyway, it's nuts. At Gary CPR. Doug knows all about it. I'm at the legislature for Bill 5. That's the 25 city councilors. In the middle of the night, right? They only allowed 100 people into the gallery. Doug leans over to Vic Fratelli. See that guy in the red t-shirt? That's Gary Thompson. He could sink us all. Because he's the Ministry of Health doing is wrong. I've got Paul. He's a gentleman of Christine Elliott's staff. His family owns a first aid and CPR training company. I got him on tape saying, "What? You don't do that?" I got Natalie Cusendova. Natalie Cusendova says, "We don't know how many are in the morgue needlessly, Gary." There was a coroner's inquest that ended December 2018. Brad Chapman, a man named Sean Court, he's the director of policy for the Ministry of Health, on the stand being questioned by the lawyers. His response was, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I want my lawyers. Go ask Eric Hoskins. He's the one that says to do the chest compressions." Elaine Davila on the stand. She's the medical officer of health for Toronto. Her response from the lawyers, "Oh, I'm not a resuscitation expert. Ask the nurses. They know what to do." And then her next line was, "Doug Ford's policies costing people their lives." On the stand, a gentleman named Aaron Orchid. He's the co-author of the 2015 AHA guidelines on poisoning toxic ingestions. On the stand, he says rescue breathing saves lives. I'm the only person that moderated comment up on the Heart and Stroke Foundation. The Heart and Stroke Foundation wrote them a letter years ago and said, "Stop doing that." Jesus, I am also published in the guidelines, the 2015 guidelines, Emergency Medicine News, the British Medical Journal. All over the place. Forbes magazine. When I got published in Forbes magazine about twice years ago, I phoned up Public Health. I says, "I just got published in Forbes magazine about what you're doing." The response from the manager at Public Health was one word, "Shit." And then she slams down the phone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I said a lot of doctors read Forbes, don't they? You don't want the doctors knowing about what's going on. Back in, August 28, 2017, 742 medical professionals signed the letter, and we had a sit-down with Kathleen Wynne at Queen's Park in her office. And told her that this is causing deaths of overdoses and non-overdoses. And so she says, well, she'll get Hoskins to look into it. Hoskins didn't even bother replying. When I walk into the legislature, I'm treated like royalty because every OPP and security guard in there has their first aid and knows what the Ministry of Health is doing is wrong. Yeah, well, a 5-year-old child knows, right? If you're unconscious, comatose, labored, shallow breathing, blue-colored skin, making gurgling noise, you're alive. You better give him some air ASAP. The ministry's instructions is give him naloxone, give him rescue breathing or chest compressions. Never, ever, ever. Rescue breathing first stabilize the person's blood chemistry and heart rate. It might not be a drug overdose. You don't give naloxone to someone right away because they've got a racing heart to begin with from oxygen deprivation, and naloxone can cause an increase of tachycardia. God, you got these safer consumption sites, and it's nothing but oxygen.
Well, I can bring that to the Premier's attention, but I do have to get going.
You do that, yeah. I'm just, yeah. save a lot of money and some lives, COVID virus, right? Have a good one, Donna. You have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Dog food.